Welcome to the Melbourne preview again for Caulfield Menzies Stakes Day, otherwise known as the Mexican Male preview. Today, joining me is some good ranters in Azza. How are you, mate?
Good, Milesy. Thanks for having me, mate.
No problem at all. Just before we get into it, just give us a bit of background on all this. How did you get into punting and racing, mate?
Just going to Derby Day from when I was 5, been a jockey manager, been an on-course bookmaker, been a keen punter for about 25 years. So made a lot of mistakes and still learning.
There you go. Well, that's it. It is a learning game. And also joining us is Thomas, or otherwise known as TB. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, Milesy. Azza, good to be here.
That's good. And how did you get into racing and punting, mate?
Probably just as a young fellow when the Melbourne Cup came around, I used to grab the newspaper out and tried to pick a winner from the form guide. Got it right a couple of times. So, yeah, just probably a bit more of a spring punter at first. And then, as soon as I could get my own betting account, mate, it's been up and down 12 years for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Good one. Look, someone did ask me in the chat how I got into it. It was this bloke over my right shoulder here, octagonal. Sort of followed him through the 95 autumn season. And I remember going to Golden Slipper Day one day, and he came screaming down the outside. I remember Johnny Tapp's call and octagonals jumping out of the ground. And just the whole buzz and atmosphere got me into racing. And then it was probably 6 months later, he went on to win the Cox Plate, where I had a good, decent bet on him. And I sort of knew the other side, which being the punting game of it all. And so that sort of got me hooked.
Still my favourite horse, Milesy,
yeah?
The Big O's. Still my favourite horse.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. There you go. Yeah, he was a beauty. All right. So Caulfield, what we've got is a rail true, probably looking at a good 4. It's a soft 5 at the moment, but I'd suggest we're going to get probably closer to a good 4. Look, the only reference point I had, which was recently, was on the 10th of July. It was a good 4. It was reasonably fair. If anything, there might have been a slight advantage to come running line down the outside, but the horses won on speed. I still remember that deep speed. I think that brought up Carr's 100th, led all the way, and I think even another horse called Falls, but probably off the fence a bit. But, yeah, it should be fair. So without further ado, guys, I think that's pretty much all the intro. Let's get into it, Azza. So we'll start off with race 6. We'll do the quaddie legs as per normal, and then we'll talk about a couple afterwards. So, yeah, race 6. Azza, what are your thoughts?
Great. Look, I thought this race, I didn't want to overanalyze this race at all. I think Probabile is just the absolute go-to here. I was very surprised to see $2.70. I thought it was going to be odds on. She's 30 to 40 ratings points out of most of her opposition here and only given them 4 kilos. First up, go back to the last prep. First up, course distance in a Group 3. She had 60. She drew the outside gate. D-line jumped, went back, went forward. Absolute nightmare. Just went and set OSL and kicked away and won easy. Absolute class horse. I would only worry if she drifts on the fair. She was super hard in the market that day on the fair. But she's trialled well in New Zealand. Looked like she was under the bat, but it was a heavy track and she doesn't love that. Be very surprised if she gets beat. In terms of others, Parlophone, she always had ability, but she was a bit of a rogue. She used to buck jump and miss the start. She's a bit of a psycho, but it looks like they've solved that. First up, second behind Bo Rosso, obviously just got beat a lip by Behemoth in the protest the other day. Then was one out, one back. Bella Nipotina stacked them up, made a run early, kept coming and just got beat by her. I think she's overs at $15. She goes in the quaddie. And Rich Chips is a very, very smart horse. Trialled very well, very, very well, better than she has before. First up record's great. She's won 3 from 4, but they've generally been over 1,300, not 12. And not sure, she's going to be too wound up for this. But quality horse, beaten 2 lengths in like surrounds and Group 2s and Group 1s in Sydney in the autumn. She can measure up here.
That's outstanding.
That's probably hitting 3 for me.
Okay, excellent. Look, there's the map too. Sorry, guys. And I think we discussed it before. Like, we can probably see Probabile maybe going a bit more forward than that now that La Mexicana is out. obviously Diamonds in the Sky will be screaming ahead. But yeah, look, that's awesome.
I think Parlophone's there is the big mistake.
Yeah,
Mellon on
Parlophone.
barrier 2.
Well,
Barrier 2, he'll definitely go forward. I'd expect him to probably sit behind lead there, or maybe just sit. Diamonds in the Sky will clear out, but Mellon will be in the first 3 for sure on Parlophone.
well, yeah, I'd have Parlophone basically where Probabil is, and then Probabil a bit more forward. That's how I'd look at that. All right, excellent, Azza. Jeez, covered it all there. TB, what do you got?
Yeah, no, I've seen it pretty similar to Azar. Yeah, like if I'm going to back Probabil here, I want to see D Lane nice and positive early. I thought Instant Celebrity's the class 1200 meter horse of this field. I didn't really think there was too much opposition. Parlophone could walk better from last start. Did walk really well first up. I agree with Azar. It'll be positive behind them. I thought it was the best roughie, and I thought Rich Hip's jump out was good too. So I'm not really saying much. Probably, if I'm to play here, it'll be just getting that confirmation that you can sort of roll on the track by race 6 with Probabil, and yeah, definitely a mounting yard race for me.
Excellent. Yeah, I concur. Probabil definitely the class. It's a freshie. It gets the right track with that map, as we saw, should be up there. Yeah, and I think Parlophone could be a bit of a smoky. I think the thing with Parlophone is last start, it was 3 wide, and I just thought Car may have got a little bit itchy with it. It probably just needs to be saved for one last run, I reckon. It's just only got that little bit of dash about it. Like it's not going to be able to sustain a massive run, but by that stage, Probabil could be just off and gone. The other one that may have caught my eye a little bit was Instant Celebrity, but look, as we discussed before, we're not too sure what its ambitions are. It's probably going to be back a bit further. Mind you, I wouldn't surprise Willow will have a plan in place. He's drawn a pretty good gate there. So, but yeah, look, I think we all agree there. Probabil's the one to beat for sure. All right, moving on to race 7. And I will just bring up that speed map for you. 1 second. But we'll go to you first, TB. What are your thoughts here, mate?
Yeah. So the 2 horses that interested me the most in this early market is Ziegfeld coming down from Sydney. I have had a bit of a look at it on the TV, and it's a bloody unreal type. I didn't think it actually walked that well. I know GP and Lizzie were keen on it from the yard, so I wasn't surprised to sort of see it, be that little bit weak late over the 2000. I think dropping back in distance is a positive. D Oliver's just going to go forward and put it in the race. He's definitely a jockey I want to find for this program. He's starting to ride a bit better at the moment. I know I potty more
too. Yeah, definitely got a spring in his step with the big races coming on. Yep.
Yeah. The other one I wanted to talk about was Mr. Moneybags, number 14. It got a bit warm last start. It's racing really well. I think it can improve a couple of lengths. It's a massive jockey change, 9 off Declan Bates. Good draw for them to do something. A little bit of a query at the distance, but with that drop in weight, jockey change, and I expect at least a couple of lengths improvement from the yard. I think it can run a big race. Obvious horses in Angel of Truth and Bartholomew Diaz. Worried about the jockey on Angel of Truth. Fred Kersley seems to fumble a little bit when he gets the big ride. So, I'm a bit cautious, backing that horse too short. That's probably it for me at the moment.
So was there anything else out of the yard that you felt might improve or?
I should have talked about Angel of Truth more. It was edgy first up. It's not end of the world sort of thing. I wasn't looking for it much first up, so I wasn't focusing too much on its action. So I'll definitely be having a good look at it. But yeah, I mean, the main ones I'm focusing on here is Angel of Truth, Bartholomew Diaz, who's trialled again well, worried about the barrier for a get-back horse. Mr. Moneybags and Ziegfeld. I can't wait to have a look at it again.
Excellent. What about you, Azza?
Love this race. Absolutely love it. Ratings to win. Give me some great data here Absolutely can't
Nice
breathe
plug, nice
about
plug.
it. Nice plug for PD. It's some great stuff. So I looked at the last 6 years of this race. No winner has come back, as all of them are settled in the first four, and most of them have led.
Yeah.
So that's my starting point. I didn't want anything that was going to be too negative. Angel of Truth is the clear top pick here for me. Enormous first up in the Group 2 Lawrence. Comes out of weight for age form. 3 back beaten 1.8 by Very Elegant and Adayeb. There's nothing in this like that. 5 back beaten 1.6 lengths in the Australian Cup. Barrier 5, Kersling is the issue. He must be positive here.
I was going to say, did you have it further than this map forward?
I hope so. From 5, I'd hate to see him on the fence. If he's 4 back the fence, we're fucked.
Yeah.
But I want him, sort of 4th, 5th in the run. Last prep second up, he ran over 1,800 metres at Caulfield on the Peter Young, who's beaten less than 2 lengths. That's just much better form than any of these are coming out of. I'm guessing they want to have it ready for the Naturalism third up, 2,000 metres, free ticket into the Caulfield Cup. So this has got to be, getting it right for that. And I think this is a good lead into that. Clear second pick is Ziegfeld. I agree with TB there. Ratings to wins ratings. This horse is rated 96 in both its last 2 starts. That's good enough to win this. The 700 metre start at Caulfield is uphill to the first corner. So you don't want to be wasting too much gas, but Ollie's got Tory Joe on his outside and no effort on his inside. They'll both go forward. So I think he'll just let those two go, one underneath him, one round him, and just settle third in the run.
I'd have no effort more forward there as well. You're right.
Yeah, I think Tory Joe leaves no effort with Ziegfeld third.
Yeah, I agree.
He's hard fit now. He's dropping in weight. Ollie and Godolphin combo is on a huge upward spiral. They've jumped out of the ground in Victoria. Clear second pick here. Of the others in the quaddie, Tory Joy, because of what I said about first 4, could it keep going? It's a cat, but maybe. Bartholomew Diaz, I'm worried about barrier 2. Charlie Rose, a very, very good horse, but what's it targeting? It probably wants to run in a Caulfield Melbourne Cup. First up, 16. Is Williams really going to dig it? Not sure. That's it for me. Really keen on the race. We'll be betting around Angel of Truth and Ziegfeld, and I'll be surprised if I don't win and pissed off.
Well, I'll take you both.
I'll be eating cucumber for dinner, not prawns.
There you go. It can't win.
It can't win?
Can't win. And I'll even say this much. The next Racing Rant function, I'll shout the bar if it does again.
You don't have to do that. Just bet me $1 billion and pick any horse you want besides Angel of Truth to beat it.
Well, I'd probably put Charlie Rose to beat it. There you go.
All right, $1 billion, you're on.
Yep. Okay. I think it goes well fresh. It's 2 from 2 from the distance. As you said, should map very well. And it should be strong to the line. I agree with a couple of others there, like Angel of the Truth, what you said there, Raz. I think that's good form, and it should be in the right spot. I thought Bartholomew Dias was a really good run last start. The query probably might be the track might be a bit too hard for it, but it was powerful through the line. I didn't even mind his trial, the finish of it. And the other import, Delphi, don't know what to make of it, but it's definitely on the up. And I sort of like those type of staying horses. They've only had about 6 starts, and he's on the up and he's fresh. He's got probably a bit of residual fitness from Queensland. Not sure he can completely win this race, but yeah, he's one to probably look out for a bit later as well. All right, I think we've covered most there. Let's move on to race 8, the big one, the Memsies, eh? Some good horses have won this. I think So You Think, Atlantic Jewel, Sunline won it a couple of times, even the mighty Maccabi Diva. So we'll start with you this time, Azza.
Start with me. I'm probably not going to give a load of insight compared to what anyone else may have. Again, I went back to ratings to win just to try and get some insight for the show. Last year, Behemoth won the Spring Stakes leading into this year, like he has again this year. Last year, he rated 100.5. This year, he's rated 99.9, so slightly lower. When he won the Memsey last year, he rated 102.8. So he springboarded off that. So we can expect that again. Tafane's last two starts, winning those two Group 1s in Brisbane, she ran 102 and 101.2. So if Behemoth springs the same amount as last year, he'll run 102 too. So I've got Tafane right in this. Tafane's got a first up record, which people are questioning. That's a complete myth. The data, if you analyse the data, one of her first up runs was a run in the 1,000-metre lightning down the straight. She ran enormous. She's run a lot of straight races fresh. This is 1,400 off an 8-week freshen. If you like it, don't be turned off it.
Yeah.
Colette could be the blowout here. I know that she's a wetty, but she won the Apollo first up, beating Very Elegant. It was a 7, but it was actually drier than that on the ratings to wins data. Blinkers on for only the second time. This is her chance to win a Group 1 for the page. So I reckon it's kitchen sink job for her. And of course, Aegon. Not sure about the 3-year-old form. The ratings say that it's okay. But he SP'd 6-4 in a round with Guineas where the horses that were flying home, like Mawunga, Lions, Share, or whatever that horse is, are real 2,000-metre horses. And I don't think he is. So I just don't think the setup suited him there. First up, Murray Baker. You leave this stable out at your peril. So they're probably the horses I'm focusing in on, but great race, Group 1, excited to watch it.
Someone who didn't have much to say about it. You've given it
Yeah,
a good
sorry, yeah.
That's all right, mate. That's what we're about.
Ratings to win. Once you get into it, it's addictive.
Oh, that's it, mate. That's what it's all about. Exactly. TB, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm a bit boring with this race. I thought the market had it pretty right with the two favourites. I like Carr going on to Behemoth. I think she'll get it in the right sort of rhythm. She's another jockey that you always want to find it.
Just looking at this map, sorry to interrupt, TB.
Yeah.
Is it going to get that far back? That's not right.
No, I reckon she'll go forward from the.
Yeah, I think she'll be a lot more forward than that. Yeah.
Try and roll into sort of like a 3-wide cover line or something like that. So,
which
yeah.
At that stage of the day, it could be a bit like that too, I feel. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, and obviously Tafane, like its latest jump out to me looked all right, and it's airborne. It's got Craig Williams, who knows the horse back to front at the moment, and but yeah, no, I had a look at Behemoth in the yard in Adelaide when it tackled the what's the other runner called, Bo Rosser. I backed Bo Rosser that day, luckily with the corporates, so I got money back anyway. But yeah, Behemoth, it could relax a little bit more. I mean, there wasn't much between them. I just thought Bo Rosser might be able to get it over 1,200. So I think it's come back looking really well, Behemoth, and it's a big gross type. So any sort of run they get into it first up is going to help. So it's the one for me from the map, as long as, as I said, as long as they're rolling out wide by that time of the day. Tafane, I don't really need to talk about it too much. And was with Azza too. I thought Colette might, be a bit better than this sort of Group 1 quality that we have in Melbourne. So even though it is a firm track, so but I think Behemoth would probably be my main bet if I was to play.
Okay. So we're not giving Streets any, it's gone?
Walked really well first up and walked terribly second up and dropped out. I know obviously something else went wrong too. So not for mine.
Okay.
Got none.
Got none. Yep, fair enough.
Nah, they said it. They peaked it early to try and get the early win. Did now.
Yeah.
Big boys are here. It's not good enough.
No, I agree. Yeah, what do I say? Look, I sort of agree with Behemoth. I think he will definitely benefit second up. He's a mountain of a horse. If you're saying he's been parading well last start, TB, well, I think he'll even be even better this time in. Aegon, yeah, look, I looked at it and went looking for it. It sort of does fly fresh and jumps out at you. Just a little bit concerned about the ground, but yeah, I can sort of understand that. We saw a 4-year-old win the Group 1 last week down in Sydney. Here in Sydney. So So yeah, that sort of might stand up a bit. But I went looking. Yeah, I think on top is Tefano, definitely. She was flying last prep. You know, her first up record isn't great, but what you mentioned there, as was spot on. It's mainly been down the straight and things like that. Plus, she's never come out of a preparation like that where she'll have that residual fitness from Queensland. You know, I think she can just really bounce out of it. I'm sort of against the PB Lawrence form a little bit. There's a lot of that in here, and I'm trying to look for a bit more DF, I suppose, in that sense. It gets the right run. You know, the distance is perfect for it. So yeah, that's definitely who I have on top. I actually also didn't mind the WA Raider, Inspirational.
That's what I was about to ask you. What do you think about Inspirational Girl?
Yeah, I didn't mind it because there is some form reference around it with that Red Can Man, and it's got lengths on it, what I've seen from over there, and it goes pretty well fresh. It's going to enjoy the conditions. I wouldn't want to see it back where it is, though, if that's how it maps, because it's going to take a bit to wind up. But I reckon once it hits the straps, it will be burning turf and coming home like a steam train. So, yeah, I give it a chance as well. But, yeah, I think we're all in the similar vote there. Tayfane's the one to beat. Colette, yeah, I'm sure it'll be thereabouts because it does have the superior form. But, yeah, look, it's a very interesting race. So
the only thing I didn't know about Inspirational Girl is, you know, it won the railway, but second was too close to the sun. I mean, what would that do in a mile over here? And before that, it won the Group 3 and it beat too close to sun and Red Can Man. So I'm just hard to line up. Hasn't raced in,
but I don't think
8 months. D. O'Brien, fresh.
Yeah, look, there are some
hard
negatives.
to find.
I get that, but
yeah,
I'm not going to lose on it.
She's dynamic. It's just Mapper. I just wasn't sure, but if she won, I wouldn't be
as
surprised.
well. This, you know, like this is a Group 1, but I don't think there's really any superstars in it either. So, you know, I sort of went to say, well, she could just jump out of the ground and do something. But look, yeah, there's definitely, I think there's a few question marks about a lot of horses, but yeah, I think Tefane is definitely the one to beat. I think we all agree on that. So yeah, all right, the last of the day. So we'll go with 2B. It's pretty moderate to genuine, I'd say, speed.
I had a dynamite speed.
Yeah, I think it could be pretty genuine.
Yeah.
I reckon Imperial Lad from 14 with 52.5 will fly across.
Control freak.
Branswell only knows one thing. I don't think he's got the speed to hold it out. And Frosty probably doesn't need to lead anymore, does he? He's sort of been taking a sit in Sydney.
I was still outside lead, though, when it won in Sydney. So
was it? Yeah, okay.
It's covered up. I don't know if it'll like it. So
I think Williams will be aggressive.
Definitely.
I just think Imperial Lad will go hard.
Yep, there you go. Imperial Lad, Frosty Rocks. I think of the ones up the front there. Geez, it'd be a good job if Ayrton can get him one out, one back there. Like, wow. But it's Jamie Cash.
There's a chance because there's a lot of slowies there.
True.
As big a field as it is, I don't know what can actually kick up inside her. And if they do sort of, if Imperial Lad does go hard outside her, she can sort of follow that across and get in. So I don't think that's impossible.
Okay. All right. Look, anyway, we'll start with you, TB. What's your thoughts on the race?
Yeah, the two I'm mostly interested in is obviously Ayrton. Again, I get Carr. I can see her just tracking this mad speed, and you know, I wasn't that impressed with the horse up in Brisbane. I did have a quick look at it on the TV, and I did take it on. I think I can't remember what that is. It Gerald Ryan Ellsberg. I did take it on with Ellsberg that day, and it ran straight past it. You get Carr, it's Caulfield. You know, it'll track in right there. The other main one I thought would run a big race was Regards Marie for the Nick Ryan camp. Obviously, this is actually its former home track because they used to train out of the Caulfield stable. So it'll enjoy going back to Caulfield. It's sort of on that worst ground, first up down the straight. It was messy. The head was to the side. Again, I get Fred Kersley off for Luke Curry on. I just have a feeling it could really do something and sort of stamp itself.
You don't want it there, bud, do you?
I'm not even looking. I'm looking at the map. I've done no.
Oh, well, what map have you done?
I can't share it with you, but I've sort of
no, that's all right. But it can't be there. Like on the fence back there, like.
No. It'll sort of be on the back of Eden, I reckon.
Yeah.
Wherever Eden gets to. So.
Yep.
Sort of tracking in 3 wide, but it's mad speed here, so it's sort of hard to back one of these front, ground swells like a horse you might try and find you. I think I mentioned last week it could improve from the improve its manners in the yard, but
I wish they ran it last week. I swear to God, they wish they ran it last week. Anyway,
might have been suited. But the main two, Ayrton and Regards Marie. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Azza?
Yeah, I mean, Ayrton's a boom horse. When I saw the acceptances, I actually thought it was going to be $1.50. Then it came up in the black, and I thought, what's going on? It's going to get smacked, and then it didn't. So now it's sort of growing me up. But the more I look at this race, you think about 1,400-metre Caulfield races, last race of the day, things tend to go forward and keep going. So, look, I couldn't talk you out of it. I haven't backed it. I sort of want to see what it does on the fair, to be honest. And go from there. Tactics will be intriguing. They won't want to gut it, but I think looking at that map, I think Carr has to go forward if they're fair into about winning the race. If it drifts on the fair, that means they're going back. Playing a couple of odds here. He's already said it, so I won't go over it again. Regards Marie, I think he's up to winning a Rupert Clark on minimum weight, so we'll run really well here. Forget first up down the straight. Blue like the wind, barrier 1, set up here improved. The other one here, the day's probably not Saturday, but I encourage everyone to put this in your black book, Secret Blaze. This horse is absolutely flying. It's gone to a new level this prep. First 2 starts, have a look at them over 1,200, been absolutely amazing. I'm really surprised they're only running at 1,400 now. I don't know what they're up to, McAvoy. I could see this horse winning the JRA Cup on grand final eve, 2,040 metres at Moonee Valley. But maybe that's why they're just trying to get miles and legs. He's a big gross horse, so he does need racing. But geez, he's still flying. He's run 5th down the straight to Astrologist last start, so definitely goes in the quaddie. So that's probably it. There's other bits and pieces there. There's obviously King Magnus and Imperial Lad, which got 51, and they're going to be liked by the syndicates down in weight on pace. I'd be surprised if they're good enough to win, but they're genuine chances. But Ayrton clearly, Regards Marie's the second best horse in the race, and Secret Blaze goes in everything and market for the spring.
Yeah, don't try and guess what McAvoy's do either. I've had a couple of horses with him, and we never understood him. But
they've also won like 16 out of their last 50, so they are absolutely flying. I will say a lot of that's been in Adelaide on the Syntho, not in town, but they're placing them well. So I still like that, and they know they've got a horse here. I just don't know what they're up to, but I'd love to find out. I'm on the hunt.
Fair enough. Yeah, look, I was almost going to declare Ayrton and say it was close to a moral, but then I read an article about how, as you said, they're not going to, it sounds like to me they're not going to try and gut it. They are going to go back. So maybe that map's not going to be the way it plays out. Like if it did do that and ran and they did push it, I think it's the best horse in the race and it would win, but it's got me a little bit worried of the fact that it looks like they might be going back, obviously looking for bigger fish later in the spring. But, it's got a lot of ticks. The residual fitness again. What's this? Hold on. And it's got the right jock. My feeling is it could get ugly. It might be a 3 wide sitting back. And then if that's the way the pattern's playing, it still might be an advantage and still could win. But yeah, I don't know. I can't sort of declare it and make it, a good thing, so to speak. But
Gord loves it when you say they knew, so I'll just throw it in. What Betfair does know, absolutely, is whether a horse is going forward or back.
Yeah.
And you'll know that with this horse in the market.
Yeah.
It's favourite for the Golden Eagle. So
yeah, I'd be 99% sure it's coming back. Mick
Well, then
Price,
you'll get
when he sort of
$3.
says something, I listen to him. He's a trainer I listen to.
Yeah.
Sometimes the other jokers, we know who we're talking about. They say shit off their mouth, and but like it still could be good enough because that map and the speed in the race suggests it could be just a bit of last man standing. It's clearly the best horse. Look, I went looking for Groundswell again. I thought his race was last week. He'll be up there. He'll be fighting away. He should be fitter. Be interesting to see how he is in the yard there, TB. And it's an interesting call. Old Frosty's coming down there. It is flying. It probably will take a sit in behind. I think, as we've mentioned, the Imperial Lad will be burning turf up front, I reckon. First go at Caulfield for Sydney horses can sometimes be a bit of a trap, but probably its style of racing will help it out, I'd suggest. And it could be in the finish. All right, so we've already done a quaddie. So I'll just read out these and just confirm it with all you guys, and then we'll look at another race. For the quaddie, for the first leg, we had Probabile, Parlophone, Instant Celebrity, and Rich Hips. Second leg, Charlie Rose, Angel of Truth, Ziegfeld, don't know how, but anyway, Tory Joy, Mr. Moneybags. We went short here in the third leg, Behemoth, Tophone, and Colette. And in the last leg, Anson. So we still want to stick with Secret Blaze. And
must put it in the quaddie if it wins.
Yeah.
If it wins, we don't have it. It'll be filthy.
I'd definitely chuck it in.
Okay. All right. So the other race we wanted to look at was the McNeil. I think it's race 4. Who wants to start on this?
Yeah, I'll crack off.
Yep.
So clearly, Colts versus Fillies is a factor here. So just pulled up the data on this race. The Vane Stakes rated 12 pounds better than the Quisette. On the overall times, Ingratiating ran 2.8 lengths faster. But Gimme Par went out 3.5 lengths faster the 800. So suited the run on there for Hearsey. Yep. I wanted to narrow in on General Bow and Hearsey here as a starting point. General Bow, I think it's a myth that he doesn't run 12. If you look at the Blue Diamond run, they went like scolded cats.
Yep.
Enthard tailed off. He led. Jigsaw sat outside it. Jigsaw was gone on the turn. And we've seen what he's done this prep. He's measured up. And General Bow fought on, beaten 2.5, beaten Ingratiating, Animo, Finance Tycoon, and Artorias, obviously. It was a huge run. It runs 12, no doubt. The races 2 weeks ago, General Bow rated 92.1 and Hearsey 91.9. So they've rated exactly the same. Really interesting is that when Hearsey won second up, it improved lengths first up to second up in its last prep. Yeah. So I'm expecting, I think there's a huge potential that it can improve significantly from that run. Yeah. I find it a really tough race. I think General Bow gets a soft lead. I think Ollie's going to be positive. I probably at first glance was leaning to the Bow, but I'm thinking now with this potential huge, is if there's any money for Hearsey, I'll be promoting it to top pick. And Artorias, in the Blue Diamond, it ran 97.9. General Bow ran 91.8. So it's clearly the best horse.
Yep.
The weight. It's more just, they've always said it's a miler. Freed is a grand final trainer. He's the best in the business, one of the best in the business. It could just go back and fly over them. But I just think because I don't think they're going to go that fast, I just wonder if the setup will suit him. But if he flies home and wins by, and just wins, eased up the last 50, you just go, yeah, too good. So that's my summary of it. I'll probably wait and see what the fair's doing. If Hearsey's easy, I'll back General Bow. If it's hard, I'll back Hearsey.
Okay, good one. TB?
Yeah, pretty similar to Az. Comment like General Bow, I wasn't impressed with its action in the yard when it walked first up. So if I see it walk a bit cleaner I'm gonna mark it up. It gets control from barrier 1. Hearsey was really edgy and towy in the yard. It was when it won first up last prep as well, and I remember marking it as a horse to follow. I thought that was an enormous run by Hearsey first up behind Gimme Par. It was wide, pulling. He sort of just eased it out just so that the horse didn't keep reefing and tearing. I think it'll be positive from 4. Again, it's Ollie at Caulfield. It's a jockey I want to find. It's going to be definitely the one running a strong, guaranteed 1,200 meters over General Bow. But as it did talk me into General Bow, maybe not being a mythical 1,200 meter horse last night when we had a chat about it. So, they're the two with improvement from the yard. Artorias is obviously the class horse here. If I see negatives about 2 and 9, I could definitely consider backing Artorias here. Mr. Mozart, I'm worried about the map. But clearly is the horse stepping up to 1,200 meters as well. So it's definitely a parade race for me. It's hard to tip something confidently, but I'm probably leaning towards Hearsey at this stage. But everyone will get my thoughts in the Slack channel on the day when it counts.
Yep, good one. Yeah, look, I agree with everything what you've both said. For mine, but I thought this was General Bow's chance to probably win that 1,200. Because everyone's probably has questioned it, but that Blue Diamond was just red hot, and it was still there batting away and still fighting it out. So it's going to get a lot more softer lead. I think it's the one to run down and the one to beat. I did like his last start, and as you said it, I think TB the second up it will improve a lot more and it'll be coming home just as strong. Looks a progressive horse to me as well. So the Blues might get it right. They might time this right actually with it. And Artorias is clearly the best horse in the race. He might end up being the best 3-year-old by the end of this spring for mine, but I'm not sure this is his race. But in saying that, as we've said, if he wins, it would not surprise me. I would have probably preferred a bit better price than what he is. I'd hope to think if he can blow, maybe I can have something on him as well. But I'd probably be working more around General Bow and Hearsey for mine. But all right. Now, just quickly before we go, what do we think are our best if we haven't mentioned it or if we have mentioned it for the day? Start with you, TB. You had one early, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, race 1 will start the day with the Fly Turridan for the Mar camp, Mar and Eustace camp. The horse has been running really, really high rating races. Its last 2 starts over 2,000. I mean, There's always that query about it stepping up in distance, but if you're ever going to take the blind faith, it's with this stable. They rolled me today with another miler up to 2,100. So, I think Turridan will just go forward and win this race. I don't think it's got any opportunity to, Wednesday stays competing against it. Muhammad Ace, obviously the class horse, but I've always thought Muhammad Ace was better, sort of that 2,000 to 2,200 meter sort of distance. And I'm not sure it's going that well. Stepping out of that, brutally run race last week on the Saturday back up is a bit iffy for me. So I think we'll get off to a good start with Turridan.
Right, good one. What about you, Asa?
Yeah, pretty keen on the day. I'm trying to not do paralysis by over-analysis because I think it is a bit of ABC-ish. I really like Anavisto as a horse in race 3. There's a couple of other promising ones in it, acknowledged. I know she's first up, but I think she's at black type filly, and I think she can just sit off from here. And I've been growing myself up a bit today, but I'm still going to back her. I think we're going to get a good price.
Yeah.
And I just, not that I'm giving much insight here, but how's Masked Crusader $1.80? That trial was unbelievable. Even Joe McNeil can't lose on this thing. Honestly, he's giving 3 kilos to Naval Envoy. It's a benchmark 64 horse trained by Danielle Luce.
Yeah,
Sorry. Oxley Lode's going to go hard in front, and maybe you can take the exacta with it. $1.80, that is a bet. Should be $1.30 in my eyes. So that'll probably be me, and I've talked about the other races. I'm really
Yeah.
keen on race 7, that Angel of True Ziegfeld double.
Well, the Hawks don't have to put Tommy on Berry on it for a while, so.
Yeah, he got rubbed out, didn't he?
Yeah.
That Oxley Road, just talking about that horse, it didn't parade well first up. It was in the worst ground down the straight and ran, I think, a pretty good race. So it could do something, but yeah,
Nice horse, really
Hey,
nice horse. I think he sets it up. I mean, 33 racing rating points between them. I mean, he could have nearly won the Everest, Masked Crusader. He's getting
Exactly.
a kilo and giving Oxley Road 1.5 kilos for
Well,
33 rating points.
What was it, the TJ Smith, where he absolutely screamed home?
Oh,
man.
the TJ, yeah,
It was
sorry, the TJ.
Yeah, he screamed home there. That's the
that
one that
trial.
the Hawks got stuck in the berry. Yeah.
Just
for
go
me,
back,
yeah,
just go around him and win, son, and hang on.
yeah. For me, as you said, I thought it was a bit ABC. I think my best's the Probabile, as we've discussed. I like Charlie Rose and Tofane.
I've got a couple
guys.
I've got a couple of Pakenham tomorrow if you want them.
Fire away.
Friday Phillips. Race 2. It's a bit short at the moment, but I think it'll drift a bit with the Stokes runner, number 6, Deep Blast. I think you can get hopefully we'll get $2. We'll win. And in the race 7, this is my best, number 5. It's about $4. Vongol, first up for EJ. Won on the synthetic before. First up last prep, ran an enormous second to a horse my family own, Open Minded, who's a very smart horse. Trolled enormous. And in the last, there's a horse called Holster. Don't be put off by the barrier. I think those last 2 especially, pretty keen on them tomorrow.
Good one. Well, that's covering it all here for sure. All right, guys. Look, appreciate your time again tonight.
Thanks, Milesy.
No worries, guys. And keep it up.
Thanks, Ranters. Good on you, boys.
Yeah, good on you, boys. Have a good one.
Cheers.
See ya.